Hi, I'm Shivani. Welcome to the Curly Bookworm. Today we're doing the 2016 wrap up. What does that mean? That means you get to know 10 of the best books I've read this year. And believe me, I've had such a great reading year this year. In the interest of time, I just want to say that I'm going to be doing very short sort of conversations about each book because I'm going to be doing larger, more detailed, spoiler and spoiler free talks a little bit later, which you can see on this channel in a bit. Okay, let's get right to it. The one that I love the most has to be this one. Oh my god. Can you see it? Can you see it? Ugh. It's the hardcover version of Americanah. I love this book so much that I had to get it. I got it on the Kindle first. I read it on the Kindle while I was traveling to the States back in September for work. And then I was just blown away by this book. I was blown away by the author. I'm such a geek. I actually ended up researching a lot about her and her life and what's, like other stuff that she's written, watching her TED Talks, which you, by the way, must. This book is about a girl whose name is Ifemelu, born and raised in Nigeria, and she moves to America to study. And wait for this, she basically discovers for the first time in her life what it means to be black. That's right, she's African. This whole year has been so tumultuous with race, both here, abroad, especially in the States. There's so much conversation going on. And for me to be traveling through the States and be reading about Ifemelu's life in the States, discovering what it is like to be black, discovering life itself, but like in a whole other country, not even in her own. Everything about this book is really, really great. The writing is just, it's like ice cream. It's like your favorite flavor of ice cream. It just melts into you. Yeah, too much? Okay, let's go to the second book. My second favorite book of the year is this one. This book, The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield, is about this girl who owns a library or a bookshop, and she is commissioned by this woman who's an author, like a super mysterious author, to write her biography. And so she kind of travels to not suburban, but like a the countryside of England to try and figure out who this woman is. Who is Vida Winter, who's the author, the famous author. Vida Winter is sort of like the Sidney Sheldon or like the John Grisham of our world, in the sense that she's like super popular. She has multiple stories that are floating around. That's the fun part of it. Like, we find out almost immediately that one of the reasons why nobody wants to write this biography is because every time Vida does a press interview, she tells every single press person a completely different story. So nobody knows where she's from, what her background is, what she likes to do in life, who's her family, where does she come from. Nobody knows anything about Vida Winter. She's this huge, big, fat mystery, right? So everybody wants to know. And this girl's invited, our protagonist is invited to come and write about her. And she's, unlike everybody else, she's not interested. But she decides to stay. And this story is really about this fascinating world of Vida Winter's real truth. It's a mystery. It's slightly creepy at times. And the ending will totally take your breath away. It's one of those books where you did not expect it. You did not expect that ending at all. My third book for this year would have been this guy. I haven't yet finished reading it, but it's one of the finest and coolest thin books that I've ever read. I'm a huge, huge fan of fat books. I love knowing that there's more and more and more for me to read. I'm such a greedy little shit. But the point is that I love this book. It's such a great book. It is The Lover's Dictionary by David Levithan. For those of you who are not mushy or aren't cheesy, don't worry. It has nothing to do with cheese at all. This is basically, all kinds of words in the dictionary. This is such a fascinatingly cool book. Let me actually read out one to you. It's just, look at that. Okay, so I have notes on some of them, so I'm going to read some of it to you. So essentially, it starts with, so I'm going to show you I think you can see it. Okay, I'm going to show you how it starts, right? So that's A, and the word is aberrant. And then you have abstain, and then you have abstraction. But I'm going to read you some of my favorite ones so far. Okay, this is one of my favorite ones, okay? It's called brash. Brash is an adjective. I want you to spend the night, you said, and it was definitely a phrasing that ensured it. If you had said, let's have sex, or let's go to my place, or even I really want you, I'm not sure we would have gone quite as far as we did. But I loved the notion that the night was mine to spend, and I immediately decided to spend it on you. Wow. Oh my god, such a good book. And so the book kind of like just goes from A to B to the whole alphabet, and then there's also like an X. In the X, there's just X. Doesn't it strike you strange that we have a letter in the alphabet that nobody uses? Isn't it amazing? This book is amazing. Go pick it up if you can. And I would suggest, so I saw this on the Kindle, but I didn't pick it up because physically it's just such a great copy to get, like with, stuff. So pick it up. The next book is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and J. Kristoff. So this book is exactly what they say here, wholly unique and utterly captivating. This book is essentially a sci-fi book. It's basically placed in 2575, so that's about 550 years ahead of us, more or less. And it's about these two really big corporations that are fighting over this one small little planet. What was really special about this book was that I'm not really into sci-fi. While I said that I do read a lot of genres, I'm not necessarily specifically into sci-fi. Just goes to show, because this book was excellent, and what's really cool about this book is what I'm going to show you now, which is the format. Can you see that? It's insane. It's basically like, do you see that? This is about the planet itself. That's the ship, the Copernicus. These are interviews. The whole book is like that. It's not in a diary format or any one format. It's in like a whole bunch of formats. There's like some kind of illustration sometimes. Isn't it cool? Does it make you want to read it? The fifth book on my list is Sonal Glass. But my dad has borrowed it, so I don't have the book with me at this time. And this will keep happening pretty often because I read a lot of the stuff that I read on the Kindle. The only reason why I will see a lot of this stuff, physical books, is because I actually love these books and I wanted to have, them because they're just beautiful and they're just some of my favorite books. So Sonal Glass, the Sonal Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, is about this woman, Selena, this girl, Selena, who is an assassin. Already cool? Yeah, yes, of course, because it is such a good series. This book is so great because all of the women in this book, oh my god, they're such badasses. Even from the bad person to the good person, all of the female characters are just so great. I get really fed up of a lot of fantasy series these days because they have the one trope that I absolutely hate, which is basically this love triangle trope, or like these girls who are so awkward, they don't know they're pretty, and then they suddenly blossom. Oh my god, stop it. But stop it with like these weakling women who are actually secretly strong and they just need a boy to come and make that happen for them. It's just, that's kind of shit, okay? Like, I'm tired of it. I'm sure it happens in the world, but I'm tired of the same story trope. But book though is about this girl, Selena, who's an assassin, who has been hired by the king to kill people that he once killed. The book is great. I mean, I've read 3 so far out of the 6, and I've been told that it gets better, even better after 3, and I can totally believe that because the first book was great, the second was even better, and the third one was insane. I mean, we got to see all kinds of worlds, we got to explore who she really is and her relationships and all of those things. So definitely, if you have the time and you like series and you like fantasy, I would definitely recommend you reading them. Tell me what your favorite books have been this year. I would love to get recommendations from you as well. Like, tell me, Shivani, if you like this, then you should definitely read this. I would love to get recommendations from you as well. Let's make this 2-way and not 1-way. See you soon in part 2. It's one of those settle in a nook and read books. It's one of those get lost in that books, and then wake up and feel like everything's right with the world.